Assalamu alaikum students and welcome to SM Public Academy Campus 5 online lectures. Okay, I hope you all are doing good and I hope you all are doing great at home and you are taking care of all the necessary SOPs and you are staying home and staying safe. Okay, and you have to make sure that you always wash your hands and you keep yourself protected during this pandemic. Okay. So today I welcome all the eighth graders or the eighth grade students to our English literature class. And you all know me, I am Miss Saban, if your English teacher, okay? So today we'll be having an English literature lesson and I want you people to have your Merchant of Venice books with you. So if you don't have it, please kindly bring it. I'll give you a minute and hurry up and take out your literature books so that we can begin reading. And the lesson that we are doing nowadays is Macbeth, okay? So hurry up and take out your books so that we can begin reading Macbeth. Assalamu alaikum, Bilal. How are you? Okay, so Macbeth is the lesson that we have begun, and as I told you, Macbeth is one of the shortest tragedies written by Shakespeare. Okay, it is a tragedy, it is about a series of sad events that happen one after another. So let's see. Okay, so let's just have a quick review of what we read and what we actually know so far so that we can begin reading from the next part. Macbeth was a commander in King Duncan's army. So actually, King Duncan was the king of Scotland. This play is situated in Scotland. Okay, that is a country in Europe. And Macbeth was the commander. That is, he was the general or the commander in the army of King Duncan, and King Duncan was the king of Scotland. He was the Thane of Glamis. As I told you, a Thane is a person who is in charge or who is commander at a certain place where he can take all the decisions by himself. So he was the Thane of Glamis. Okay, Glamis is a place and in Scotland, and he was the Thane of Glamis. Macbeth, along with Banquo, defeated the disobedient noblemen who had joined the Norwegian army. So actually, in King Duncan's reign, although King Duncan was a very good, generous, and far-sighted king, but still there were some people who turned out against him and who actually, you know, joined with the army of the King of Norway, and they together attacked the King Duncan's army. And King Duncan sent two of his most faithful and best soldiers, that is Macbeth and Banquo, to fight with the army. And although it was a tough battle, but finally Macbeth and Banquo were able to defeat them and be victorious. King Duncan decided to give Macbeth a new honor. Okay, and what was it? Because everybody praised Macbeth a lot. Everybody talked about his bravery, his courage, and the way he fought in the battleground. It was all extraordinary. So finally, King Duncan was very happy. He was very pleased with Macbeth, and he decided to give him a new honor. And what was that new honor? The new one, it was the Thane of Cawdor. Okay, he wanted to make him the Thane of a new place, one more place. Okay, and actually that meant a lot. On their way back, Macbeth and Banquo met the three witches. Now, this is where the story takes a turn, and they both are returning back. And actually, Macbeth was a faithful soldier. Now, I asked you this thing in the test, and many of you couldn't make it correct, but actually people need to understand this thing, that he was a faithful general. If he was not a faithful general, or if he was a disobedient general, then you know King Duncan would have never sent him in the first place to fight with the army of King of Norway and the disobedient noblemen. He was a faithful and a brave soldier. That's why King Duncan sent him to, fight. So this is what the people need to understand, okay? But when they were returning back, they met the three witches. The three witches prophesy that Macbeth will be promoted twice. to Thane of Cawdor, and then King of Scotland. Now, the three witches actually, before Macbeth and Banquo could ask them anything, they made a prophecy. A prophecy is when you tell somebody what's going to happen in the future. Okay, but isn't actually supposed to be true. So, this is what they predicted actually, that he's going to be promoted twice. That is, he was the Thane of Glamis, he would be the Thane of Cawdor and the King of Scotland in the future. And Banquo's descendants will be kings, but Banquo isn't promised any kingdom himself. So Banquo, the witches told him that we don't have anything to tell you about yourself. That is, you won't be promoted, or you won't be happy, or you won't be the king. But yeah, your descendants, that is your children, would be kings. And this is what was the contradictory thing, that at one place they told Macbeth that you will be the king, and at the other place they told Banquo that your children would be kings. Okay. Macbeth's intrigued by the witch's prophecy when he gets the news that the king has honored him as the new Thane of Cawdor. So actually what happens at first, Macbeth is himself a little reluctant to agree to what the witches had said, but when the news comes to him that he has been promoted to the Thane of Cawdor, he actually starts believing that what the witches had said was true, and as he had become now the Thane of Cawdor, so the last prophecy that they made was to be the king of Scotland. So this is actually what he started believing, that he could be the king of Scotland, and he believed the witches' words. Okay, he started believing them. Banco tries to warn him, but he is deeply fascinated. Now, Banco, when he sees that actually Macbeth is, thinking a lot about what the witch's words, and this might lead to some destruction or some problems in the future, he warns him that you don't have to think so much about what the witches have said, and actually they were evil witches. But Macbeth is very much fascinated. He's like totally like up to the fact that okay, I can be the king someday. He writes to his wife about the event and leaves for his castle to prepare for the king's visit. So what happens? The noblemen come to Macbeth and Banquo, and they tell them that the king would be coming to visit you at your castle. And he says that okay, fine. Rather than me going to the king to his castle, I'll take a leave and I'll go to my castle rather and prepare for the royal visit. And he also writes a letter to his wife, and he's so desperate that he writes to his wife everything what he had experienced with the witches. And he also tells his wife that he you can be the queen of Scotland someday. And this is where he started fancying this thing actually, that he could be the king and his wife could be the queen. The king announces his elder son Malcolm will be king after him. Macbeth is worried. So basically, the king has now announced at the while he was staying at Macbeth's home or Macbeth's castle, that Malcolm will be the king after me. And this is actually worrying Macbeth, because if he has already announced that Malcolm will be the king, then the chances of Macbeth becoming the king almost fade away. So this is still far we read, and let's move on. Okay, so let's begin reading Macbeth on page number 20. Okay, so I want all of you to open up page number 20, and you're going to begin reading on page number 20. Okay, Lady Macbeth. Now, who is Lady Macbeth? I've already told you Lady Macbeth is the wife of Macbeth, and she is actually very, ambitious woman. She can reach to all the heights to be the queen. Okay, she's a very over ambitious woman. So let's read about her. When Lady Macbeth read her husband's letter, she was determined that he should rule Scotland. She was sure that Macbeth would have to act without mercy for others. So basically, now you see, this is how you start understanding the character of Lady Macbeth. That when she read her husband's letter, although she did not meet the witches, she doesn't know nothing about what happened, But only after reading her husband's letter, she is determined. She is, like sure. She is just looking forward to be the queen, and she wants her husband to be the ruler of Scotland, to be the king of Scotland. And she also understands at the same time that it won't be easy. It won't be an easy journey to be the king. It won't be a piece of cake that the Macbeth would be made the king. But she believes, and she's preparing for the fact that Macbeth will have to act without mercy. That is, Macbeth will have to be rude. He will have to be unfaithful. He will have to be merciless. He will have to be unkind. He will have to be, you can say, uh, ungenerous towards each and everything, and he will have to be definitely pick up or take up all the wrongful means to be the king. But he has to be the king. That's what she starts believing, okay, or not believing, she starts acting upon it. He would have to make himself king, but she was afraid he was too kind to do it. So now this is where you understand Macbeth's character till here. That Macbeth by nature was a kind man. He was not a bad man. He was not an unfaithful person. He was not dishonest. He was a faithful, nice, kind man. But his wife was a very over ambitious and a very bad lady. And what she wanted, she knew that Macbeth cannot be the king by a simple or a shortcut or an easy way. Like he can be promoted to the king's place, or the king says that you will be the next king. She knew this won't happen. It won't be an easy thing. It won't be like something that could just happen by itself. She knew that he will actually have to make himself the king. That is, he will have to struggle for it. He will have to do something for it. He will have to like attempt or do some wrongful things for it, okay. Lady Macbeth knew that her husband would love to be king, but she also realized that she would have to urge him to take action. Urge means to force, okay? Urge here means force. So she tells him that, the line urge. Okay. So what happens that she knows that her husband would love to be king. That is, it was his passion or it was his ambition to be king someday. And definitely, it's very much obvious that any person would like to be the king. Why somebody would not like to be the king? When he's already a thane of two places, definitely he had the courage and the potential to rule. So definitely he would love to be the king. It's obvious. It's very much clear. But she knows that she will have to force him. She will have to work out some strategy for him to be the king. Okay, to take action and to do something so that he could be the king. She decided that Duncan must be murdered while he was staying with them at their castle that night. So she has actually a dangerous plan. And her plan is that when Duncan comes over to visit them at their castle and he stays back there, then he must be murdered. That is, he must be killed. And who's going to be the murderer? Who should be the murderer? The murderer should be Macbeth. Okay, this is actually what she plans, that King Duncan must be murdered and he's just staying there at that night. Lady Macbeth did not believe anyone would discover who had killed the king. She was certain that Macbeth was so well loved and admired that no one would think that he had done it. So basically, she's 100% sure, that Macbeth is the apple of the eye for everybody. They would believe that, oh, he's such a faithful and nice man. How could he do it? So it would be a very safe and sound plan that they're going to kill him, King Duncan, when he's coming, staying here for the visit, and nobody would actually ever know that, he was killed by the hosts. Okay, so she thought that it's going to be a very easy and a foolproof and a simple plan. As soon as Macbeth came home, she told him about her plan. She advised him to show no sign that anything was wrong and to welcome his guests cheerfully. Okay, so what does she do? She tells Macbeth as soon as he arrives home that you just make the preparations for the royal visit, and we are going to do this, that is, once the king has had the feast and he has a relaxed and things are already normal. There is no sign of any trouble or any problem here, and the king should not actually be suspicious about anything. And when everything goes on fine, when the king sleeps at night, we are going to kill him. And this is going to be a very simple thing, and nothing will go wrong. But all you have to do is you have to keep your nerves low, that you don't have to make the king or anybody realize that something is actually fishy or something is wrong going to happen. Okay, you don't have to make anybody suspicious from your actions. She said he did not need to do any more than that. Leave the rest to me, she said. So actually, you look at her courage, that she's telling her husband that, just act normal, be normal, and just leave everything to me. I'm gonna handle everything. So she's also overconfident, that she says, okay, fine, nothing is gonna go wrong, and I have a very clear cut plan, and I'm gonna work on that. All you have to do is just stay calm, stay quiet, and just relax, chill out. I'm gonna, like kill the king in a very, like simple way. Nobody would ever know that, and you could be the king after him very easily, okay? And she says, leave the rest to me. The king arrived and was welcomed by Lady Macbeth with great respect. Duncan was pleased. The castle garden seemed calm and beautiful after the battle, and it was very pleasant to rest and to be among friends. So you see, now the king arrives, and King Lady Macbeth is showing all the respect and honor to him because he is the king. And King Duncan was actually very pleased. He was happy. He was actually expecting this kind of a behavior from Macbeth and his wife, and they were very generous and nice to him during the visit. And the castle garden seemed calm. That is, during a battle, you usually have the guards on watch and everything going on. So when the battle was over, the war was over, people have relaxed now, and everything was seeming nice and quiet and pleasant. And King Duncan was actually happy to be amongst friends. Now, this is what you people need to understand here, that King Duncan trusted Macbeth so much because he was a relative also, to King Duncan, that he was happy that he was with his friends, and he just actually he came to visit King Macbeth because he wanted to relax. Definitely, if we have had if we're having our exams, or if we have had some troublesome time going on, then we sometimes go on a vacation, right? During the summer break or during the winter break, and we believe that okay, we are gonna just relax ourselves, we go on a vacation. So the king was actually sometime like kind of on a vacation, okay? He came here and he was all relaxed, and he was happy to be amongst friends. He was just relaxing. Here he thought he could forget for a while the troubles of his kingdom. So he was actually so happy, satisfied, content, that he thought he's gonna forget for some while here, staying here. He's gonna have a vacation, a relaxing, a soothing, and a good time here. He had supper. Supper is dinner, okay? With Macbeth, who showed him the room where he would sleep. When the king went to bed, he felt peaceful and happy. He was so pleased with everything about his visit, that he sent a wonderful diamond to Lady Macbeth as a present. So, you see, the welcome that Macbeth and his wife gave to King Duncan was so nice and so generous and so loving, that actually King Duncan was overjoyed. He was very happy with the way they, attended him. And Macbeth showed him the room, and he relaxed in the room, and he went to bed. And he was so happy that he sent a diamond to Lady Macbeth as a gesture of appreciation, or a gesture of his, happiness and satisfaction. So see how nicely they, although they have such a big plan behind their minds, but they welcomed the king so nicely that the king was not at all suspicious. In fact, he was happy. He was overjoyed by the welcome. Okay. Macbeth felt neither calm nor peaceful. Now, definitely, Macbeth on the other side, the king is all fine, relaxed, but on the other side, Macbeth is neither calm nor peaceful. That is, he is actually having, this thing going up in his mind that, something big is about to happen, and he has to actually commit it. So he is all disturbed. He was sure he could not murder the king. He could not kill one of his own relatives, a guest in his own castle. So, see, now, this is the good side of Macbeth, that he is actually having this realization that he cannot kill the king, he cannot murder the king. Why? Because the king is a relative to him. They are like blood relatives to each other. And secondly, he is a guest. Now, you see, a guest is usually somebody who has to be honored. And even in our religion, if you don't talk about the Christians, then we talk about Muslims, we are supposed to, respect and honor our guests. So, similarly, you know, the Macbeth was also like feeling, I had a feeling that how could I, just kill a person who is actually my guest, who is my relative. He was responsible for Duncan's safety because the king was his guest. So Macbeth has a very strong feeling that, I'm responsible, I'm in charge for the king's safety, and if anything goes wrong, I will be actually held culprit for it. And it's not a good sign that a person comes to your place and anything goes wrong with him, you are blamed for all the wrongful doings. So he was actually upset about it. He was so disturbed that he could think of nothing. Besides, he was such a good and fair king that it seemed very wicked to kill him. And apart from all these reasons that he was a guest, he was a relative, and Macbeth was in charge of his safety, above all, the most important reason that Macbeth, gave to himself was that how could I kill such a nice and good man? There's nothing bad about him. If he was an unjust and an unfair and a bad king, then okay, it could be that okay, I killed him for all these reasons that people are not happy with him. But this is not the case here. King Duncan is a favorite. Definitely, there are some the other people in every kingdom who are not happy with the king, but the majority of the people were actually happy with him because he was a far-sighted king. He used to work for the benefit of the kingdom, and he was always trying to pick up strategies, policies that were good for his people. So Macbeth, like was telling him that how could I do such a unfair and a wrongful thing? I mean, he was not happy with the plan. While Macbeth was considering what to do, Lady Macbeth came into the room. Now, this is where again, Lady Macbeth comes in action, and Macbeth is just disturbed. He is thinking, that I can't do this. And actually, if it was in his hand, if he had to take the decision, then probably Macbeth would not have killed King Duncan because he, by his nature, by his deep insight, was not a bad man. Okay, he was a good man, but again, he was easily tempted, and because his wife was actually guiding him towards the wrong direction. And when you have when you're a husband wife, then you do have to listen to each other. So he was actually under pressure from his wife for doing this. Otherwise, he himself was not willing to do anything like this. He told her he could not kill Duncan. The king has given me great honors already, and I am very popular with the people. I am grateful for this. It is enough for me, he said. So now he's talking to his wife and he's telling her that, I cannot actually kill the king because the king has already always been so nice. I mean, he has given me so many honors. Whenever I've done something good or if I've achieved something big, he has always honored me. Okay, he has always been nice and kind to me, and he has always been so generous, loving, and kind to me, being my relative, being the king, that I cannot actually take up such kind of a step. I cannot go forward and kill the king because I'm grateful, I am thankful for whatever he has done so far for me, and whatever he has done, that's enough. So you see, now this is one another character trait of Macbeth, that he had a feeling that he had been rewarded enough by King Duncan. Okay, he was not a rebellious, he was not upset with anything that King Duncan has done with him and he wants to take revenge, or he was not satisfied with what King Duncan was actually awarding him with. He was already so much satisfied and awarded that he was calm and happy with it, and he tells Lady Macbeth that no, I cannot do this thing. I cannot kill a person who is, like helping me out at each and every step, and who's actually supportive, who's actually accepting my positivity, who's always honoring me. So I cannot do such a thing with a man who's popular, who's nice, who's kind, who's good, and who's at the same time my relative, and who is my, you know, who's my well-wisher actually. Lady Macbeth told him that she would never respect him again, and that she would always think of him as a coward. So now this is what Lady Macbeth uses this strategy, that she tells him, okay, fine, if you don't kill the king and you don't, like listen to what I say, then I'll never respect you. I'll always think that you are a coward. I will, like never look up at you, and I'll never love you like my husband. And she uses the common strategy of a wife that, okay, fine, you're not listening to me. I'm not going to be nice to you, and I'll always let you down, and I'll tell people that you are a coward, you are not a brave man, you don't have the guts to do anything. And this is only one chance you have got to be the king, and I can be the queen after this. And if you don't take it up, and if you don't kill the king, then definitely we won't have any other chances, any other opportunities to kill the king, and then for the rest of our lives we will only be the thane. That is, I'll never be the queen, and my opportunity and your opportunity to be the king and queen would just definitely fade away, and this would never happen. And she actually forces, urges Macbeth to take a step, to take a decision. She told him that they would certainly succeed if they were determined enough. And now she tells him that, okay, if you think that, the plan was not a foolproof plan, and, there were some obstacles in it, there were some hindrance in it, and it might not happen. So she says, don't worry, I have a very, clear cut plan. And if we are only determined, that is, if we have the willpower to do something, if we want to do something, then only we can do it, okay? So if you think that we will be successful, then we will be successful. I am 100% sure. And she tells him that you don't have to act like a coward. I'm taking all the responsibility, and we are just going to do it in a very simple instant. I have a very clear plan. She explained to him how easy it would be to murder Duncan without anyone ever finding out about it. So now she tells him the plan, that I have a very simple and a easy plan, and there is nothing, dangerous or, suspicious involved in it, and nobody would ever learn that who killed King Duncan, okay? So it will be very simple and very easy. Macbeth changed his mind and agreed to do everything that his wife suggested. So now this is again the turning point where Macbeth, after retreating, or after coming back to the fact that no, I will not king the king, actually now is ready to kill. Okay, and why? Just because of his wife, because the over ambitious wife he has, he actually agrees that, okay, fine, I'll kill the king, and I'll do whatever you are saying. And you know you don't have to worry, and you don't have to call me a coward. At least I'll do what you are telling me to do. She said that she would give some wine to the two guards at the door of Duncan's room. She would put a drug in the wine, and this would make them fall asleep very quickly. So basically, now this is where the plan starts, that when the king was off to bed and he has retired to his room, so she says, I'm going to give some wine to the guards, and who are actually guarding the door of the king, and I'm going to put a medicine in the wine so that they fall asleep. That is, she's going to make them unconscious for some time, so that it's easy to get into the a room, or to sneak into the room, okay? Then it would be easy for Macbeth to get past the guards and murder Duncan while the king was sleeping. Later, they could blame the guards for committing the crime. So now she has a very clear cut plan, that she's going to give wine to the guards, she's going to put medicine in the wine, and the guards are going to fall unconscious for some time. And then Macbeth would simply sneak in, he's going to get into the king's room, murder him there while the king was sleeping. So the king would definitely have no options of seeing who is the murderer, and he would just kill him and come back to his room. And in the morning, they're going to say that, oh, the guards were at the watch, definitely they are the people behind the killing, and the guards would be punished for killing the king. And so, it's a common rule, like if there is a killing, or if there is a crime that happens, and if somebody is blamed for it, or somebody is convicted for it, then people actually have a very relaxing feeling that, okay, we have found the culprit. But if the culprit, or the person who has committed the crime, is not found, then the case goes on, and people get suspicious about each and other person, that, okay, this might be the person, this might be the person. So nothing like this would happen, and eventually the guards would be sent to prison for a lifetime, or maybe they are given a death sentence for killing the king. And Macbeth and his wife would live happily, no issues with them. Nobody would ever know that they are the murderers. Okay, So today we are going to read it till here, children, and let's answer some questions. So let's see, who do we have today? Okay, so the first answer. What is the first question? What was Lady Macbeth's ambition after reading her husband's letter? Okay, so who's gonna answer this one? Let's see. Okay, can I have Vardagul? Vardagul, can you answer me, please? The first answer. What was the ambition of Lady Macbeth after reading the letter? Vardagul, are you there? Okay, Abdul Rahman thinks she was more joyful because she was becoming the queen and she would be planning to kill King Duncan. Okay, Fatma thinks that she wants to be the queen. Okay, what is her ambition? Can you people tell me the ambition only, not the plan? I'm not asking about what was her plan. I'm only asking you what was, you know, in her mind, what was going on in her mind. She has a negative ambition. Okay. Okay. Varda, you're not there? Okay. What was Lady Macbeth's ambition after reading her husband's letter? Her only ambition was to be the Queen of Scotland, okay? She believes that she wants to be the Queen of Scotland. This is her ambition, okay? Remember, I'm asking her the plan. I'm asking her the ambition, not the plan, okay? Okay, the second one. What was Lady Macbeth's plan to kill King Duncan? What was Lady Macbeth's plan to kill King Duncan? Can Saim Samad you answer me? Saim Samad, please answer me the second question. Hurry up. What was Lady Macbeth's plan to kill King Duncan? What was her plan? What was Lady Macbeth's plan? Saim Samad, you're not there? Okay, can I have Zuha Zafar? Zuha, can you answer me? Zoha, can you answer me the second question? What was Lady Macbeth's plan to kill King Duncan? Come on, children, hurry up. I just want the plan. I don't want in detail. I just want the plan. Initial plan. What was her initial plan? Okay, Zuha is not here. I think Sania Javed, can you answer me? Sania Javed. Sanya Javed, are you there? Okay, I have the answers here. Okay, so Abdul Rahman thinks he would give poison to guards and then she goes into the room of the king. Okay, she doesn't go, bete. Macbeth would go. They would kill Duncan. Okay, this is what I'm asking. How would they kill Duncan? Give wine to Duncan. Drug was inside. He would sleep. Blame. No, 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 no. He would. They won't give wine to the king. Okay. They will kill king and put all the blame on guards to be the king and the queen. Okay, that is right, Maida. You're right. They'll put poison, Abdul Rahman thinks. Okay, then. Okay, the plan was that while king sleeps, they will give wine and make them drunk, and then she and Macbeth will slip in and murder King Duncan. Okay. Okay, fine. Thank you for the answers. Thank you very much. But it's just the simple answer would be what was Lady Macbeth's plan to kill King Duncan? That while the king was on a visit to their castle, they are gonna murder him and they are gonna put the blame on the guards. Okay. Did the king figure out something suspicious at Macbeth's castle? Number three. Did the king figure out something at Macbeth's castle? Was he suspicious? Hamza Mushtuba, can you answer me? Hamza Mushtuba, are you there? Did the king figure out something suspicious at Macbeth's castle? No, exactly. Anas Ahmad, thank you for the answer. But Where is Hamza Mushtuba? Hamza Mushtuba, you're not there? Okay, he doesn't figure out anything, and he was actually very much fine, and he was happy to be with the relatives. Was Macbeth willing to kill the king? At first, Maida, can you answer me? Was the king, willing to, Macbeth was willing to kill the king? No, he was not willing to kill the king. That is right, because he thought that they were relatives and he was in charge for the security, and also that he, was a nice and generous king, and there was no reason to kill him. So Macbeth was actually initially not willing to kill him. What do you think about Lady Macbeth? Now you can have your own, answers here. What kind of a lady do you think she was? Can I have, let's see, Ishal, can you answer me? Ishal, can you answer me the last question here? She was a greedy person, that's right. She was a wicked woman, okay, that is right. Bilad and Anas, you guys are right. Thank you for your answers. I like your participation in the class. All of those children who are continuously applying me, thank you for your answers. But what do you think about Lady Macbeth? Can I have, who did I ask just? Yes, Ishal, are you there? Or Abdul Sami, can you answer me? Abdul Sami, are you there? Lady Macbeth was actually an overambitious woman. Okay, she was a very greedy person, and she believed that she has to be the queen, because now once she has it in her mind, she's going to do everything. She's going to take up all the wrongful ways to be the queen. Okay. Okay, Abdul Rahman thinks Lady Macbeth was an evil lady. She thought that she was queen and Macbeth become king. Okay, that's right. She was an overambitious woman. Manahil, thank you. Okay, the children who answer me, there are only a few are children who are always answering. Otherwise, I think the rest of you are sleeping. I'm gonna mark everybody absent who are not answering me today. Okay, Sanya, thank you for the answer. I have only a few kids who are answering me each and every question. Otherwise, the rest of you are, I think, sleeping. Okay, children, thank you today for the class, and I hope that you people have understood so far the lesson. Okay, today I'll be giving you the questions and answers, but they're not all. I'm only giving you 6 questions today in the assignment. So I want people to do that in the literature copy. Now, there was a big confusion last time. You people are continuously asking me about the words meanings. If you have done the word meanings, if I have checked the word meanings, don't worry about it, okay? Because it was done, and if it was complete, that is, if there were all the word meanings there, I have given you the marks, but in some copies I have not given the marks because the word meanings were not complete. Okay, so please check your copy. If it's incomplete, complete it, and then attempt today's assignment, that is question 1 to 6. This is what we have not done in class before. Attempt it, and then after that submit your copy on Friday. Stay home, stay safe, and take care of yourself, children. Allah Hafiz.